Oh, it says rotate it back. All right, I guess I'm going landscape. Let me send this link to Sue. I'm going to send this link to you. You need to be able to hear it, though. Can you turn, is that on your phone? I'm doing it at the same time.
Texting and posting.
Oh, I was just talking about Robert Holden.
No, it's just, it's funny you would say maybe like a Christian person or just somebody from like regular old mainstream and say names like James Bond, Robert Holden, or even Louise Hay, who's a legend, and they're like, who? But then you talk to somebody, people like us who listen to this show and Hay House fans and other Hay House authors and stuff, and it's like, oh my gosh, I spiritually grew up listening to people like that and, looking up to people like that, and then it's like you see them in person and you're like, whoa, is this real? Oh my gosh, this is like so cool. I'm such a dork.
I'm such a dork.
It was probably about second to me crying on my first show. I played it cool when I met James Von Prague, though. I was like, nice to meet you. Yeah. Anyway,
I wasn't that impressed by him.
cool show.
Oh, you want to turn this speaker onto your phone?
Noise you may hear in the background is my dad.
Oh.
Yeah, he's here, and Anya's here.
Oh, Anya.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Poochie, stop.
She heard her name. She heard her name.
Gail's like my spiritual bodyguard. It was funny because today she calls and says, I'm sure you have your dad and Anya there. So it goes through my head that was like a movie and fast forward, like tons of screens. And it was like me channeling and then seeing this big, huge dark thing coming in, her eyes getting red, growing like 50,000 times bigger than it and like flicking it off me like it was like a toothpick.
Oh, I was talking about how badass Anya is.
Yeah, no, you need to come today. She watches after me in the spiritual realms when I'm
So Katrina.
and just so people know, when I say battery, I don't
That was before Katrina gave me the 1-2.
thought of anyone. What it is
I'm letting Anya come to the radio with me.
a battery in mediumship and in channeling. You'll notice that like Jerry and Esther Hicks, Jerry was her battery. Everybody that works in channeling usually has kind of like a counterpart, and that person helps to hold space so that the person is safe when they leave their body and other stuff enters into their field to communicate. My dad's my
Could you
battery
go away?
when we do the Bible
put it
books
outside.
and answer heaven speaks and the snow globe, which is why
Just put it in the
when
car.
I'm with him, all the crew comes in. You see
We're
them
live
all.
on-
They're like, woo,
Yeah.
Yep. Oh my God, one of them looks like adrenaline. So I was talking to my doctor, who she works with people, empaths, and actually we're going to do a class
what I'm trying to
hopefully very soon on the physiology of being an empath. And what she's found is that people who are empathic actually have what is it? Gosh, I'm going to totally mess it up. But it's they're addicted to cortisol. Cortisol says it's going to be okay and comes after you get an adrenaline rush. So she thinks that children with PTSD, not like, oh, I saw someone murdered type PTSD, but more like I was 5 and I had 3 younger siblings and I had to get them out to school on time and I had to feed them and I had to do this and that, or, it doesn't have to be that drastic, but the brain had to create more adrenaline, and therefore more cortisol would come in to say, it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay. And so as we grow up as adults, we become addicted to adrenaline, and we become addicted to that cortisol of everything's going to be okay. Are we okay?
I think I got that totally wrong that day, but
Mine just came back on.
something close to
we're
it.
Still on the air. So basically, her theory is that drug addicts, you get the adrenaline rush when you do things like speed and things like that. Or she says a lot of her clients are like the evil Knievels, jumping off buildings, parachuting, stuff like that. If you're not one of those,
like me.
or addicted to the gym, or addicted to being in a rush, or addicted something to where you're like gotta hurry, or even people like me, she said, is I'll wait to the last minute to get stuff done.
No, you?
And then when you're on adrenaline, your fight or flight, survival of the fittest, you can lift up cars off, you can jump out of burning
shuffling
buildings,
around with all
you're
this
running
stuff,
from the
like,
bear. It's our
ah.
basic instinct. So we were talking to her
My own radio
earlier,
show's talking
Anya
crap to
and
me.
all of a sudden we saw this guy come in and he was like, woo!
You guys want to hear it? Go to Hay House Radio or go on
swirling around his shirt like he just ripped his shirt off, and then we saw this little
any
old lady
Facebook
and we realized
page,
that it was adrenaline and
Vimeo,
cortisol.
and
We were seeing
on
them as people, so it was
HayHouseRadio.com.
really funny. But yeah, if you have if you're an empath, which is what today is about, being an empath, and
here is just for the chat.
if you've been affected more since March of last year, there is a reason. My dad and I channeled about it. When did we channel that book that you have here, Papa?
Well, I think we make mention that we had recorded our conversation with John in December of 2014. So, but Peter, I think, came a little bit before that. So maybe in 2013 is when we got started with Peter and John.
So the guides, everyone was always saying, oh, the shift of the planet in 2012 because of the Mayan calendar. And I think that there was a shift, but I think that last March is when the final when they talk about veils, the way that I picture it, and I was just talking about this on Facebook, is find an old picture of yourself right now. And if you can find an old picture of yourself from when you were a kid, or even 10 years ago, before 2012, you can actually use our snow globe exercise to feel what it feels like to be you right now, and then to feel what it feels like to be you prior to that date, still with the same knowledge and wisdom that you have now. I mean, how awesome would that be to be able to go into the past and change things now with all the wisdom that you know now? How many times do you say, gosh, if I would have known
Perfect timing.
then
We're launching
what I
our
know
time
now.
travel course.
And we can kind of do that energetically now. I'm teaching a time travel class. It sounds kind of like woo-woo,
That's
but
before I even
time
did
travel
my-
is basically I'm teaching us to take our conscious awareness from now into the past. It's what Reiki healers do with the distance symbol. It's what some other modalities, quantum healing modalities do. Using other techniques, but we go into the past and we shift and erase and dissolve emotions around certain traumatic events, so that we are not, our brains don't go and grab for the woo, the adrenaline button, or the cortisol, or we don't grab for those memories of, oh, well, I was cheated on, so I need to be very careful with this. If we can erase from our subconscious mind, then we don't have to experience trauma over and over and over and over. And so if you're interested in joining that class, you do not have to do it in order. The best way to do it is to sign up for Patreon, which is $55, and you get access to all of the classes. The class is $30 on Wednesday nights, but if you do the $55 thing, you can access all the past classes, which I think we have 6 or 7 of them. Tonight, I think, or tomorrow, I think is the 7th or 8th one. If you are, hard up for money and you can't afford the $30 to come to class, please still do contact
That is
us,
true
because we have
too.
scholarship
Marla's
and,
like,
scholarship money that we set aside. Patreon was created for that. Patreon is www.patreon.com/discovering intuition. But if you close your eyes right now and just say,
you can also go to intuitionliving.com.
name, and I am my light.
Ooh.
And I want you to just imagine that you have a burning flame around you, or whatever you want your light to look like. I am my light. So you're going to be this light inside of a statue, and there's this snow globe around you. I am a snow globe, and I am my light. Some of you actually aren't in your body, so say I am, and then your name's light. There we go. Good job. Poochie, get back in your body.
Light. Ew, my light.
I am your name, and I am my light. There we go. Please show me what that feels like, or please allow me to experience that now. There we go. And now I want you to say, I am me, show me what I feel like. So you're your light, you're your snow globe. Just kind of feel what the snowflakes around you feel like, feel what the glass feels like around you. And I'm going to go ahead and send in clearing from above everyone right now and clear out your energy. So from above you,
Yeah,
you'll
me too,
either
me.
feel a light, see a light, imagine a
sending
light.
clearing to you
Could
guys.
be water, fire, doesn't matter. There we go. So we're clearing out all energies that belong to other people
Oh, it's clearing them.
and calling back everyone's energy back into their own field, calling back all the tendrils of light. Okay, there we go. Now, if you have an old picture that you remember, or if you have a picture in front of you, it's better to just kind of like have it in front of you and just say, I am now that person. But if you can think of a picture of you, say, I am now that person. And then just feel what your snow globe does.
Stevie.
Or if you don't like the snow globe, just if you just don't need the snow globe as a tool, just I am now that person, or I am now that person in that picture. And the guides are saying to not even say I am that me, because there's so many of us that are what would be considered walk-ins, or we've switched spirit personalities throughout our lifetime. Same
That's
soul,
crap,
different
right?
spirit.
Oh.
I am now that person. It could have been a completely different spirit energy that was in you at that time. And it's a total trip because you can actually feel the shift, or if you don't have a picture and you can't do it that way, if it's too personalized for you, say, I am now me, and it is the year 1989. So you're still you in this age right now, but it's 1989. And just kind of feel what it feels like.
I feel like I'm going like this.
Feel what it feels like.
Like it made my
And I'm going to go ahead and clear everybody right now. So I'm just going to clear everybody out. There we go. Perfect. So what's interesting, you can kind of feel, even if you're not a seer or a feeler and you're like, Marissa, I have no abilities whatsoever. This is so dumb. There is a shift that I'm sure that everybody felt in some way, shape, or form just now, even if it was just either your mind getting louder or getting quieter, or feeling a different feeling, or a stillness or a loudness, because there's veils. And the way that we see our reality is basically through a mirror of awareness. We are consciousness staring into a mirror, and behind us, we have these movie screens, and these movie screens are our soul chart. I'll just let them choose the colors. There's 3 movie screens behind us, and those each have a soul chart on them, and they all represent the past, present, and future. So imagine watching a movie through a mirror. So the movies are playing behind you, and you're watching in a mirror in front of you, and then you're watching the movies behind you. Your higher self is the reflection of you watching those movies. And you and your emotions are the ones that are emoting and feeling stuff. So your higher self is kind of seeing those movies through the perspective of you and how you feel and what your emotions are like. And that's your snow globe. So I've got pictures of it, I think, on the video that we did about 3 or 4 days ago, where I have a picture of somebody sitting in the center of their brain, staring into a mirror with these little movies going on behind them. So the key to reality right now is that those movies, we don't have to live in those movies anymore. We don't have to be trapped in that same cycle that we've been in for thousands and thousands of years. And according to the guides that me and my dad channeled,
I thought I just discovered it last night.
That's funny.
the veil is gone. When did they say the veil is gone there? Because they keep saying March right now. But with the veil was basically a big, huge cloak that went behind our backs. So all we could see was a mirror with us in it and a big, huge sheet. But now we can see the past, present, future. We can go into the past, present, and future. We can change the past, present, and future. And most importantly, we can rise up out of that whole situation, go into our higher self, and we can just start creating as our higher self, living in this reality. Like Jesus said, in this world, but not of it. Isn't that what he said? In this world, but not of it?
Yes.
Yeah. So they're fixing the screens here. I want to let my dad read from, I think you have something that I can see Jesus behind him flipping the pages. So
Yeah. I was trying to find.
That's so cute.
Basically, we were talking a little bit earlier about the energy, and then we did the interview with John, and it's the only time we actually opened up the Bible. And we wanted to know more about the book of Revelation, obviously. Everybody's curious about the book of Revelation. Even people who aren't religious tend to grab the Bible and read the book of Revelation.
Doubt we talk
So
about planet
that's the
shipping.
only time we actually opened it up. And then just as an aside, that's the only time we actually opened it up. And then just as an aside, we started yesterday reading the New Testament. We got through halfway through Matthew 5 while you were channeling. So
Before Bossy Mary came in.
well, we had Rose come in, we had Mary, but you know, I was mentioning to Marla, your assistant earlier, that you were weeping while
Okay.
you were channeling Yeshua. And we got to the part about the light shining within us, so that others can see.
This is so
the
perfect. This
goodness
is, I
and the
need it
glory
today.
of God. So, shining the light, you just use the example of the snow globe and bringing the light into you, the way that
Emotional body and the mental body are both part of what they explained to us yesterday as our Christ calls the pain body or the emotional body. The middle to upper part of that building would be what we would consider to be the mental body, which is where psychics hang out. Empaths hang out in the lower part of that building, and that's why you can feel everybody's emotions, because you're down where all the emotions are. If you're up in the mental body, you're up in the hologram world where you're seeing visions of people doing silly things, or you probably just consider yourself as having an overactive imagination, or whatever. It's people say, oh, little Bobby, you just got an overactive imagination. It's like, oh no, little Bobby's hanging out in the mental body, and every time little Bobby sees a picture in his head or feels or senses something about that person, because we are all one and we're all from one divine mind in that upper part. And then the very top of the 12-story building would be Christ, or being Christed, meaning that you have ascended through the emotions, being on earth and learning how to live with compassion, learning how to live with love within you, and most importantly, because there is a mirror right in front of us, and the only way that we see other people is through our own reflection, is having compassion for other people. Last week, the last exercise that we did in class was I had everybody turn into the person that they despise the most. I had them turn into that person, but you don't do that if you're in your emotional body. You have to get led through it, and it's an exercise. But it was, I am now that person, and they got to feel what it felt like to be that person that they hated. We played the Michael Jackson song. Everybody made so much fun of Michael Jackson and said he was a freak and this and that and all this stuff about him doing things to kids. And we played the Michael Jackson song, the I'll Be There, and everybody became him. And it's like you could feel like the innocence within him. You could feel the angelic energy coming through. And, you know, that's not to say he didn't do this or that later on, who knows? But at that moment, him singing that song, the Jackson 5, you could feel his parents fighting behind him. You could feel all of these different things going on. So if we can learn to become and feel what our enemies feel, that's when true compassion starts to set in, and that's when we can ascend the emotional body, which is where Armageddon is, which is where the emotions are, which is where the empaths hang out, which is why there's more anxiety attacks these days. There's more suicides. All kids are empaths because they are still in those lower floors. They are empathic by nature from age 3 to about 7 or 8. At about 7 or 8 years old, Anya, did you feel like, I mean, well, Anya's an exception to the rule because she's got all her abilities, and I can guarantee you would have shut him down by now if I would not have been doing this, right?
Yes.
What would you say about what age was your experience with this, and then your mom finally letting me talk to you about it was like, what, 3 years ago?
Yeah, I was about 9 or 10.
9 or 10? Yeah. Okay. And then, so could you feel... Did you know that the feelings around you were your own emotions? You thought that they were everyone else's, huh?
This was the day she told
Yeah.
her mom said yes.
It's like
she could be on
kids
the show.
will say, oh yeah, you know, all the kids judge me and they don't like me and blah, blah, blah. And I'll ask the kids, I'll say, well, do you like you? Well, I don't really like my hair and my parents don't have money, so they can't buy me this. So all the kids think that I dress bad and blah, blah, blah. And I'll say, well, actually, I don't think that the kids even notice what you're wearing. I think they're noticing what they're wearing before they notice what you're wearing. I don't think that they even notice it personally. And that's when the kids, especially the 15, 16-year-olds that I work with, realize that they're the ones judging themselves and that it's not everybody else around them. So in this world, if we can all learn to not just project our own emotions onto other people, I think the world would be a much, much better place. Anya, when I told you about the snow globe, and you taught it to your little sister, does she actually use it? Does it work on her?
She does use it, and it works on her.
Mm-hmm.
I normally have to remind her to use it. She's not at the point where she's just like, oh, I don't feel good, I'm going to use the snow globe. I normally like, well, do the snow globe.
Yeah, the best thing to do with the kids, and because I had promised some people that I would go over some empathic kids stuff, is, do you remember the exercise that Joseph taught us like 3 years ago when Anya would get a stomach ache? She would remember you get real bad stomach aches, and I think she was nervous because she's only with us a few weeks out of the year. We wish we had her more, but you know, it is what it is. So she come out in the summer. So of course she's having to adjust to going from Oklahoma or Reno at the time out here. She's in this house with these people, and obviously we're her parents, but you know, she's got her normal life, and she would get this sick feeling in her stomach. So Saint Germain, the one with the twirly mustache, came in one time and he was like, oh yes, indeed. Yes, yes, yes. What we must do is dissolve the emotion within the child. So what you can do with your kids is when they're not feeling good, what was it on you? We ask, they'd say, I am, and their name, and I am now a snow globe. And then they go into their light just above their solar plexus, which is a golden ball. And you have them imagine that they're there. And then you say, where in you do you feel sick? And they'll say, you know, my stomach or my leg or whatever, right? Wasn't that what it was? Yep. I'm trying to remember. And then I'd say, and then didn't we say, what shape is it? Yeah, what shape is it?
The shape, and then we dissolve the shape.
Yeah, and then I asked you, where do you see the light of God? And I remember expecting her to like put her hands on her hips and be like, what you talking about? Really? And she actually pointed up like at her like 12 o'clock, you know, as if she was on a clock, she was pointing up. And I said, okay, what color is God? I mean, she was like 7 or 8 at this time. And I think she said like whitish, silverish or something. And I said, okay, well, what color will dissolve that thing in your stomach? And she said blue. And I said, okay, well then tell the blue light to come down and dissolve the shape. And it was amazing because I was actually watching this 7 or 8-year-old heal herself. And I could see the blue light coming down from God as she understood it. She's Christian. I think you were seeing Jesus is what you were seeing. and it was dissolving the shape away. You guys can just pick the collar and just tell me when I have 10 minutes left. Yeah, everyone's stressing out like big time over the screen not working here, and it's making me nervous.
I know, and there were some good questions on there too, but it just keeps blinking off.
Yeah, it just keeps going. Well, that's just what happens.
I feel bad because I've been on the other side of the line waiting to get called too, and it's tough.
Yeah, we can't see the callers right now, so we're just talking away. So that. Okay, so that hold on one second. So the anyway, so after your kids dissolve their own energy, that you don't want to dissolve it. You don't be the one to do it. You walk them through it. Where do you feel sick within you? What does it look like? Show me where the light is, and then just say, okay, light, send down a color of energy to dissolve away the shape. And as I was watching it, it was amazing. I was seeing, cords to her dad, to her mom, to her stepdad, to her other stepdad. It's like all this stuff was just flying off of her. And it was just amazing to watch kids heal them, to watch her heal herself. And that's after that we realized she had abilities and all this stuff. So we will be teaching a class probably while she's here, probably online, for moms and kids. So keep an eye out for that on our website. But if you don't follow me on Facebook, make sure to just follow me on Facebook, even though the friends are at a max, because that's where I do announce all of my classes and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and let you take this collar. I don't
have anything on my screen, so it's.
No, he said there's a. He said,
maybe intuit a number.
is Charlie a guy or a girl?
Wow. That's really old.
Okay, Papa, take the
I
call.
wonder I sound so calm.
Charlie, I can't read what your question was, but can you repeat your question? This is Joe.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for taking my call. Well, actually, my question is, did you say career-wise? Actually, I'm in the middle of job hunting.
Of what?
For job.
Oh, job hunting.
Charlie,
I thought you
you're
said
watching
duck
this?
I thought he said
Let
duck
us know
hunting
whatever
too.
happened.
That's
I was
okay.
like, poor ducks.
No, sorry about that. I remember the songs that Madison listens to. 5 little ducks went swimming one day over the hills and far away. Mommy duck said, quack, quack, quack. Only 4 ducks stayed back. Sorry about that, Charlie. Go on. Little levity in the show today.
Yeah, so I've been having a couple of interviews. Trying to have like 4 interviews that I got for the past 3 weeks, and then had another interview yesterday. Then I have another interview tomorrow. So.
But you're not interviewing for what you really want to do, are you?
I am getting interviewed because I'm being an accounting field for the past 11 years.
Okay.
Well, you know what, Charlie. One thing that I've learned to do, and learning to get your light within to grow and get brighter and brighter. I'm a Christian, so this whole thing with Marisa was a little bit tough because I had a lot of problems with my church and my pastors when I would discuss what was going on with the channeling, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
But I'm still a Christian, and I still believe in Christ. I still believe in Jesus. And one of the things that Jesus had
While he's talking, Charlie, I need your birthday. While he's talking, I just need to tune into your energy. What's your birthday?
Yes. Sorry. It's 2/18/83.
Okay. I'm doing that while he's talking.
When you walk into your when you're about ready to walk into your appointment tomorrow, just do something. This will brighten your light, and your light will shine to the interviewer. Is just say. And you're going to be speaking to your higher self. You're going to be speaking to your soul. You're not necessarily speaking to Jesus because it's your soul who is guiding you and sending you through lessons right now.
Right.
So what you want to do is before you walk into that room, just before you walk into the room, say, "Your will be done, your words, not mine."
That works.
That's all you got to say, because now you've turned over your human self to your soul.
Ego.
And your soul will put those words into your head. When you are asked questions, you will respond the way that your soul wants you to respond. And so you will not be fighting, the human will not be fighting the spirit.
And you know it's funny what he said, how he says that. He's telling me to do that, and I'm like, yeah. Okay. I'm like 17, 18. Your will be done, not mine, God. Okay, yeah, whatever. But I, as a clairvoyant now, I can literally see everybody is a little ball of light with a GoPro video camera on it. Don't ask with GoPro. It's the witness, you know, and I can literally see that wherever we think we are, we are. So you hear other teachers talk about how we are awareness, and that's that GoPro video camera. So by saying your will, not mine, what you're doing is you're taking that GoPro video camera and you're moving it out of your ego, out of your emotional body from when you were 7, when your mom was just a raging something to you and told you that you were never going to succeed. What was up with your mom? Did you have a falling out with her when you were 7 or something like that? Or is that a sister? What's going on there?
Yeah, you know what? I looked back here with my parents.
How
they
would I
never
know
thought
that?
I was gonna.
Oh my God, I'm psychic.
You know?
So can I remove that from you?
Who is this girl on the radio?
Can I remove that from you? Yeah, let's go ahead and remove that, because you know what? That's the you that takes over when you go on those interviews. You know that, right?
Totally
So you get like the
doesn't seem like
sweaty
that to me.
hands, you get all nervous. It's because you know that they're gonna, and doesn't mean it's gonna happen, but you know that they're going to say to you or make you feel the way that your parents made you feel when you started to be up, and you almost weren't able to be successful around your parents because then it would prove them wrong. And as children, all we want is for our parents to be happy. They can be the biggest, excuse my language, jackass in the world. Not speaking from experience. I love my dad more than anything in the whole world. But you know, you see these.
Not speaking from
You see these like, you know, kids with their dads that are like raging alcoholics, and you know the kids are sticking up for the dad, or it's like we're just dedicated to our parents, and even if they are telling us that we are going to be losers, we almost want to make them right. And what was interesting was one of my friends that passed away, his name is Gary, he was one of my dad's best friends and kind of a mentor for me with the Chinese astrology, is he says, you always need to watch out. He says, because even when people don't believe in you, if it's somebody that you love, you may be trying to make them right. So you need to make sure that you're not trying to make somebody that you love right if they don't believe in you. Does that make sense? Because we almost try and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to go into 7-year-old self back to about 5-year-old self. It looked like you went through a lot of shifts and changes in that time of your life, and you also went through a lot of shifts and changes at 19 and 20 to where it looks like you switched your path, though. That's why I said, because your guide, you have a guide in here, her name is Anya's better at this. Camille or
Camellia.
Camellia?
Oh, she's so good.
Yeah, she's hold on, let's see here. She's a woman. I don't know. She's in the spirit realm though, huh? She's a step up from the spirit world.
God, Marissa, why don't you just get yourself
she
in
feels
more
like a
trouble?
very,
It's
like,
streaming out
very
everywhere.
down,
Katrina's like,
spirit guide.
Katrina, this is really
you know,
old. You said she could go on the radio.
Saint Germain, like me. El Moria, like me, throwing roses at himself. Sorry, the Ascended Masters are very full of themselves.
That was actually, we found out why he throws roses at himself.
Because they want to remain them. But so Camellia, yeah, she came in. So I will just channel her real quick. So she says, my dear, I will give unto you right now the love that you have always wanted to receive, that you could not receive from the female energy in which I bring into you. And as I fill you with love at this time, I say unto you that you will feel a confidence that you have not felt before. We will remove the attachments in which you received when you were 4.5 years old. My dear child, you are empathic. You have mediumship abilities. You have the ability to tune into these subtle realms, and because of it, the subtle realms can see you. And yes, we know that you know that they're there, but what you don't know is even when you're asking for protection, that 7-year-old, and especially the 15-year-old, feels as if he needs to be punished. You feel as if you're bad. You feel as if you chose the wrong path. You don't know who you are. You don't know why you are. You don't know what to do. You don't know where to go. And that 15-year-old is who is driving. That 15-year-old has thrown Charlie in the trunk, duct taped, tied hands behind the back, and that 15-year-old is running away. So when we say this with the utmost love, that when you look at what you want to do with your life, we would like to say F you to the rest of the Charlies. This one is not an Ascended Master. She didn't say the real word. She said F you. But maybe that made an impact on you. I don't know. She said, all those Charlies, all those voices in your head, all of those things that are saying this, and you need to do this, and this other person said that you were good at this, and this other person said you were good at that, and this other boss said that you excelled at this, and this other boss. What do you want to do? And what we'd like for you to do is to sit upon a chair in your mind. Sit in the captain's chair. In this captain's chair, you have the captain's wheel in front of you, and out in front of you is open space. Open space indeed. And what we'd like for you to do is to imagine a runway taking off into space, directly out in front of you and up into space. If you pull a job into your mind and you feel as if you need to steer the wheel the other way or pull the wheel the other way, or you sink and you drop down, or something other than taking off into the heavens, something other than that happens, there's something in you that doesn't like it, so that you will make sure you don't get it. So you must understand that the mind, the you, and the real you are all struggling for that captain's wheel. This job interview will go well, but we ask you again, and this is not to confuse you, what do you really want to do? So what's your dream job? If you could get any dream job, what would it be?
My dream job will be
CFO of an accounting firm.
Exactly. Yes. I still want to.
Well, let me read something,
Papa.
Charlie, because this might help a lot, because we manifest our own destiny. And in our book, we interviewed John, and I just want to read one part in my narration. I said, my mom pops in briefly, Grandma Betty, and says that what is going to happen in 8 months, now this was recorded in December of 2014, will be that one of the 4 horses mentioned by John will appear. And the horses signify, as I best understand, are angelic forces.
Yeah, he's
basically
totally,
in July of 2015, the energy of the white horse was released. And if you've ever listened to Marisa or read any of her books or anything, the Earth is surrounded by a grid. Think of it as up until July of 2015, it was surrounded by a barbed wire grid, and all that was playing was AC/DC, rock and roll, hard rock. People were banging their heads. Well, in July of 2015, the white horse energy of peace was released, and now the Earth is listening to classical music. But some people want to stay inside that barbed wire fence and the rock and roll. So there's a battle between good and evil going on right now. So for one thing, we need to manifest our own destiny in a form of peace. And once again, we can get rid of that rock and roll that's going on around us by, once again, brightening our light within our snow globe. But let me read this. Marisa brought this up earlier about the energy.
Let me just tell them just what I'm seeing really quick before you read that, and then I have to the bathroom, so I have to. Okay. No, really quick, what I'm seeing is to focus that one, what he's reading, the energy's coming through from your guys, but two, what this Camila is saying is that if you focus on, because of this energy of peace,
why else would I go to the bathroom in the middle of the radio show?
That you want when you go into the interview, that it feels
like
say that. The interview is going to turn into something different, and that will lead to something else, which will lead to something else. And you need to have confidence in yourself, because as he's speaking, I am healing you and removing all of those insecure pieces of you, because you're going to be like, bam, now it's time for me to do my own thing, blah, blah, blah. Not for about 7 months-ish, and that's not, I mean, that's just where the energy kind of comes in, but I'm going to go ahead and let him read this, because I had, before then I ran into Robert Holdman, and, you know, I had to talk to him.
Yeah.
Oh, Robert Holdman.
It feels good when you're talking to me what Camille was, you know,
presenting. Yeah.
I'm hoping that some of this.
I was feeling emotional. Like,
yes, and because that's true love. That's true love that they're giving to you. I will be back.
and once again, think about it. Think back to July of 2015 and what's transpired since then. I mean, there's been wars around the world and threats and nuclear wars and everything. And what's been happening over the last year and a half, 2 years, or whatever? ISIS has been defeated. The caliphate is gone. Nations are talking to each other. North Korea is going to denuclearize. There's peace in the air, but there's still those beating their heads against the wall listening to that rock that want to get rid of that piece. But anyway, in our conversation, Marisa had brought this up earlier about manifesting our own destiny. And because I've got a blank screen, we can't go to any other of the calls at this time. So hopefully we are touching on some of the other people that are waiting for some answers as well. But anyway, we were channeling John and getting ready for the Book of Revelation. And let's see, Marisa said, yeah, he wants to say a few, so he's saying, and I said, he knows I'm going to interview him for this book. Marisa, yeah, he's excited. He says he's excited to be able to speak frankly with us. He says that his passion as an ascended master and as the Spirit of Christ and of God being led by the Holy Spirit, he says, is to bring a realization to human beings on the earth plane that we're living and co-creating a physical life with God, and that we think that everything is set in stone, and it's really what we create it as. He says he's trying to use, as an example, he's showing me, saying like, two people on earth plane can be looking at the same thing, like fire. Like both people could be looking at fire, but if they are taught that fire was water, then it would become water. He's saying whatever you think something is, it becomes. And he says everybody's down there sees something totally different, so you're all living in your own movies. He says you're all living in your own movies. He says that the key to living a real
I should write to Charlie and apologize to him for keeping on the
you
phone
are
forever.
not of this world, that you're still in heaven. He's saying is by mastering the elements of the earth.
So am I going to get the
But
job or
basically,
not?
we're in a movie. You manifest
Oh my
your
gosh,
own
this is crazy.
destiny.
That's the exact thing. So this is thank
But
you.
give me my
Charlie,
show back.
Will you do me a favor, Charlie? Will you send me an email
Look
on
for
my
his email.
website so you can come to so we can reconnect with you after this. I have to do I was just shown that I don't have a clock here. We have to do the meditation still, and the guys just said that was the exact quote. Charlie, my website's www.discoverintuition.com. That healing is going to continue. Get some electrolytes, drink a lot of water because you're going to get super dehydrated and you can get a headache if you don't drink enough water because that 7-year-old self has been dissolved. The 10-year-old self, 11-year-old self, 16-year-old self that hates himself is so confused, and the 16-year-old pulled him out of there when I was washing my hands in the bathroom.
Charlie, Marissa's got to go into her meditation, so
yeah.
But please let us know how your interview went, and remember, before you walk into that room, say, "Not my will, but your will be done. Not my words, but your words."
I'm like, yeah, that probably saved this bet.
And then see what happens from there. I'm going to be really curious.
So what the guy said, what my dad just read there was the movies. So the movies in this reality, how we are empaths. Empaths are feeling the emotions and the feelings of other people when we're at a lower vibration, when we're nervous, when we're angry, when we're upset. So if you're angry and upset about something, like Charlie's 7-year-old self is upset because he's going to be a failure, he's going to walk into the room, going into the interview, this is the perfect call, and he's going to pick up on everyone else's failure energy. Then he's going to be looking into that mirror of awareness, and because the veils are gone behind us, he's going to be looking at his movie or his path, but through the eyes of a failure. So everything is they'll be more nervous. So that's why they're saying, because the veils are gone, because we can see our past, present, and future, our conscious mind can see this, it's affecting us more. So if he's nervous and he's looking and he can see his path, but he doesn't realize he can see his path because he doesn't realize the veils are gone, it's going to be even more so like, oh my gosh, I see here on this movie screen that I am supposed to get this job. I'm supposed to meet my soulmate. This is not the case, Charlie. Don't worry. I'm just using an example. Like, I'm supposed to meet my soulmate. I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to get all this stuff. If I succeed, then that 7-year-old comes out and goes, you're not supposed to be a success because this is what mom and dad said. So the fact that we can see our past, present, and future, and that's what we've been going over in these time travel classes, it's putting a lot more pressure on us emotionally to stay on track, to stay on our path. And like my dad said, peace has been released onto the earth, but people who like heavy metal don't like peaceful music. I mean, we're talking about like, vibrationally. If you are an angry person and somebody's peaceful, you're like, yeah, right, they're just being
depends on your
fake.
mood.
You don't believe that they are actually peaceful. So the world is going through this upheaval right now. So I want to lead you guys through a meditation to rise you up out of the emotional realms so that you as empaths that are experiencing this Armageddon that's going on, if you can actually close your eyes right now, I want you to say 0 heart. We'll go ahead and get some music. We'll do a short one. That was a perfect passage.
Okay, we're going to meditate.
So say 0 heart space.
0 heart space.
I want you to place your hand upon the center of your chest, just a little bit to the
Anyone
right
who's
of your
chatting on the
actual
YouTube
heart.
link over there, I'll answer them when this is over.
And in the center of your heart, become aware of your divine spark, of the divine light, of that light that is you, that ignited your heart. For the heart is created. The heart is the first thing that source brings into an embryo, and the last thing that it pulls out. So become aware of your heart beating and imagine that you are in the center of your chest in your heart space. So as you sit in that heart space, you can kind of imagine that over to the side of you there's this beating heart. Boom, 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 boom. And in it, a beautiful, beautiful divine spark of light. What we'd like for you to do is to imagine moving over into that divine light, into that divine spark over in your heart, and then follow it up, because you'll see that there is a silver thread attached to this. The silver thread runs up out the roof of your building, up through the skies, out through space, out into infinity. And at the very, 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 very top of that thread, there's a hand. It's a hand that's
Some people have a really gross hand and clearing for you.
Spool of beautiful silver light thread.
Look at the hand for some people.
And between two of their fingers, the thread hangs through.
I only have 2 fingers.
And they've dropped it down. And they've put that thread and that spark of themselves into the human in which you live.
Some people have a really
So
gross
I am my
hand.
divine spark within my heart, if you can't do the visualization. And then just allow for that hand that's holding that thread to be like a magnet, pulling you up. And as you move up, as you leave your physical body, you realize that you have a bubble around you. And you are you. But you've got the divine spark inside of you still. You and your bubble and your divine spark continue to float up, all the way up, until you're in the palm of that Creator's hand. From directly above you, a beautiful stream of the whitest energy, the hottest, whitest, searing hot white energy you've ever seen in the form of a white thread, comes dropping down. As it touches into your crown, goes through your bubble, this white thread dissolves away all implants, all attachments, reconnects your God cord, reconnects your light, charges your batteries, disconnects you from anyone or anything that you're connected to,
Why isn't it connected? I just cut the cord to that nasty, gross thing on everyone, and it literally cut out. There's something so disgusting.
Yeah, right.
It's a hand with only 3 fingers, and it's blocking everybody from their divine light. So this is like 2 years ago that this was filmed. So, and look at, none of them were straight.
Some emotions that you would
They all
like to
died.
let go of. I want to be less picky, or
I'm gonna replay
frustrated,
this.
or OCD, or emotional, or I think impending doom thoughts. I think of whatever it is you want to release. And as you say this channel will hereby release an energy, the I am Reiki energy, to dissolve all the memories of that feeling, all the memories of that emotion, anything that triggers that emotion within you in the highest and best way for your soul's purpose. Sending out the energy to those of you that are listening to this live. There's about 7 more people. So just feel what it
7
feels
more.
like to have this white
More like
energy come in above you,
589,000 more.
down through you. What we'd like
I
for
thought I
you to
had
do
like 5 listeners.
is to just now say 0, the light. This will slow your molecules down to 0. And by stating the command, the light, this will bring you into the original light that ignited your heart, the original light that ignited you. 0, the light. And as we attune each of you to your light today, those of you listening live, you will be able to bring yourself into your light at any time, any place, anywhere when you feel yourself off balance. 0, the light. And when we say the light, we say what many people would call God, source, the light that ignited my heart. Please show me what it feels like. And as you feel this, just to show you the greatness of what you are and who you are, imagine an empty white room in front of you. There's a table. Say, show me, and then your name. Please show me, and then your name.
Like a snake stuck in my stomach.
You're pretty much microscopic. You're tiny. Say, show me my house as a dollhouse.
It looks like a voodoo doll.
And in your mind say, in the name of the light, I now command instant healing and balancing upon my home now. Thank you. And just watch as a bunch of light or water or whatever you see this as comes pouring down over your house, this dollhouse, clearing it, balancing it, aligning it. And as you do this, you can also imagine your business place. Imagine this house. I am the I am, and I bring unto you, each of you, an attunement of your home, rising it up from the ashes of the third dimension, rising it up of the ashes of the old world. We rise you up, we rise you, we rise your home, we rise your family, we rise all of that which is trapped within the third dimension. And as we rise your home up, imagine this home lifting up into a light of its own, into its own light. And as you watch your dollhouse home and yourself or your business rise into this light, it is now attuned to the new earth. You
Pulled
are
out the
attuned,
hook.
you are attuned, you are attuned. We bless you, dear children, and we love you so dearly. Save yourselves, love yourselves.
Hurry up, Marissa. End it. Come on.
Come to class tomorrow night, guys. We're going to do a lot of this stuff, releasing our family members and ourselves from the third dimension, and a lot more on this same subject. www.discoverintuition.com. Bye.
I make myself nervous at the end of that. It's like, jeez. Okay, so I'm over on the YouTube chat, if anyone's there. There. Hi, Laura. Hi, Shauna. God, I was giving myself a nervous breakdown listening to myself on there. Well, now we have a live show. No, Jeff didn't punch me. The 7-Eleven guys last night, they were like looking at me. It's like funny when you have like something like this on your face because you want to be beautiful. You girls know what I'm talking about. It's like beauty's painful and bruising, I guess. But when you have something like this on your face and you walk around town, people are like, they don't want to look at you. Like, then they look and they don't look at you. And I'm just like, I misbehaved. I'm like, I don't think you'll think it's very funny. But I mean, this is just like, they were sitting there staring at me. Accident? No. I paid a couple $1,000s for it. So Jacinta, I agree. Wait, no audio? Where is there no audio? There should be audio on this. So, yeah, accident. I fell into a syringe of Botox. It was like, whoa! Oops. We're gonna start filming the Matchmaker show, and I pictured myself next to Angelica, and like someone like Jenny McCarthy and Angelica Bridges, and I was like, yeah, I don't match. I need to go look a little bit more fixed up. So I'm streaming on Facebook here, but there is a YouTube link that is on Patreon only, and that's over here on this chat that I'm logged into right now that I'm answering questions on. So if you guys have any questions or whatever, I think that like literally today's show, what we were talking about is, I think Laura's the only one that can't hear us. I know you're a dork, Laura. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, Laura. I don't know you. I thought it was the other Laura. She's like, she said I was a dork. I'm leaving. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out which camera I'm looking at right here. I've got, look at this. So this is funny. Cameras, Marla. We're trying to set up a printer so I can do my taxes, and that's like what mode I was in. Then we have that guy over there, and then we had to put Poochie in the car because she kept barking. But Sue calls like an hour ago and goes, show's going live in an hour. Are you still going to do Q&A afterwards or during or meditate with them? But I actually found a really cool meditation if you guys want to do it. I know, what a studio, huh? It's because we're shutting down the studio over in Encinitas. We actually have to be out of there by the 20th, and I'm so excited to be let out of my lease. It's only, what, 2 months early?
Yeah.
Well, we did kind of pay first, last, and deposit, so...
Yeah.
Anyway, but I still feel like I'm getting away with something for some reason. So I'm just very, very happy to be getting out of that lease. That place was like what was that movie in the 80s? The Money Pit? Yeah, the Money Pit. It was the Money Pit, seriously. Half the money that you guys donate on Patreon goes back to students. But what we're going to start doing now is we're doing the Rise Up Revolution and the Rise Up Movement. We can't figure out. Rise Up Revolution sounds like rah, but it is kind of like rah, because when you guys were going up to hand, who here that's on on Facebook, I can't see any of your comments. On Vimeo, like Periscope, nowhere can I see anyone's comments except for on that one YouTube link that's on Patreon. So if you go to intuitionliving.com, then you'll be able to get the link to the one chat that I'm actually answering.
Is Facebook supposed to be blocked?
Hit play.
Blocked.
Can you hear me?
Oh, video is ended. Okay. So I guess people are saying go to YouTube.
Well, yeah, that's where they need to end up anyways. So,
Okay.
YouTube is over on Patreon. They need to go to Patreon to get the
Okay.
YouTube link.
Okay.
Right before I do a meditation, always.
He's on his way home, probably.
Yeah, just call him.
Okay.
We were about to do a meditation, so you called. I'm live. I'm meditating with the taxes. No, but I gotta go. Okay, I love you. Bye. Call Marla. Okay, so anybody who hasn't been to my classes knows that the second I say let's do a meditation or let's do an exercise, Jeff calls, because I'm sitting here clearing my energy and basically clearing myself of his energy, of everyone's energy. Lately it's been his best friend's energy that has been all over me. If that's just black, I'm just gonna turn that screen off.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell him.
No, is that just black? Can you guys see it on Facebook? Is it just totally black? Because if it is, I'm just gonna turn it off. It's pointless to have it on there.
Yeah, I'll send the link to that to
To Patreon. So I'll just end that, and now I'm just on YouTube. There we go. Okay, full attention here. So, now I forgot what I was saying because of Jeff. Let me see here. Get out of there. And, okay. Oh, I see why it was black, because it was on Zoom.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, well, it's all good.
okay.
We're with the
happened?
YouTube people now. Yeah. And I'll just do my regular Facebook page so that people are like, where'd you go? Okay, so today was a little bit creepy. I don't know if anybody here can comment on whether they saw a disgusting hand when they went up, like followed that stream of consciousness up. I'll just like sit with like half of my face showing. There. Because I'm like looking at it going like, oh God, that looks really bad. Or what if I'm black and white? If I'm black and white, you can't really see it as much.
I wouldn't worry about it.
It's kind of, that's why I haven't been live lately, because this has been like almost like a week now and my face is like totally jacked up. Let's see. Yeah, the hand of God. Brittany, what did the hand of God look like to you? Yeah. Yeah, the black hooded guy, it was really, really, really creepy. What I saw up there. And so I was trying to, oh no, that flipped it around. I was trying to clear it from everyone. So hopefully, oh good, now we've got like 39 people. People are moving over. Can we clear that? Is everyone cool with that? Because that seriously was like the creepiest thing I've ever seen. Like usually I'd see like this nice plush like hand, and the hands over on the other side, I never see them having a pinky. Because I think the pinky is like us. Is the pinky us? If it was on Zoom, you'd hear Sue patching. The pinky is the da-da-da-da, according to class number, da-da-da-da-da.
You think it was God?
No, the pinky is us. Hold on, let me see. The pinky is the divine spirit within, the divine spirit that is created by the earth, for the earth body, for the elemental body. When the elemental body dies, this is when Christ is born. You're birthed into your Christ body. And from your Christ body at 14 is when you begin to develop, learn, and create and experience a life free from the negative emotions that come with being an animal from earth. Interesting. They want me to channel to a song.
Of course.
I don't know why. Let me see. So everyone has to let go of their past is what they're saying, because right now that hand, if you saw a creepy hand, you're stuck in the past. Stuck in the past could be like, you know, you're the dude wearing the Letterman's jacket still, like, and you're like 60 with your beer belly hanging out, and you're like, yeah, best years of my life, from like 15 to 18. You know, or you could just be like stuck in a rut, or you could be thinking about your ex, or you could be thinking about your family, how it used to be and it's not anymore. You could be like us, thinking about Brian all the time. You know, it's we lost Jeff lost his brother, and it's sad about it constantly. Every time I see him, I think about it. And my dad's always like, oh, every time you think about that, that's like sending out a live wire to have them come connect with you. And good, that's good. I'm glad that he knows that we're thinking about him, you know. I would say that if I accidentally died, didn't do it on purpose, that I would want to stay connected to my loved ones here, even if we are full, complete, total, whole beings over there. It's like I always say, like, you know, Julia Roberts and George Clooney and like all those people were in like that. I always see that. What's that bank robbery? The bank robbery show. Um, what was that? Ocean's 11? Was it Ocean's 11? So anyways, Ocean's 11, that it's like, I remember seeing an interview of them talking about how they basically liked filming one of the shows better than the other, and that it was a lot more fun than the other, even though it was the same cast, same people, like probably same director, same everything, but it was just a different experience because it was at a different time. So that's like how we are right now. It's like we come into this world with all the same souls over and over and over and over and over. In fact, we've lived this life like 17 times. It's like, it's Groundhog Day. Like maybe like I am me, Marissa, this time, maybe last time I was my dad. And then the time before that, maybe I was my brother. So we switch around our God consciousness that was created from the Tao, like from the main source of all creation, breaks off into like 96 pieces. And from there, those 96 pieces go like, oh, cool. I'm aware of myself. I'm God. I'm going to go create. Meanwhile, the primordial, like the God that those split off from, is still existing, knowing that it's God. But now these 96 pieces take off and they go, and then they break off into pieces, and then they break off and then break off. And that's where like soul family groups come from. That's where like the soul plane comes from, and stuff like that. Eventually, everyone's got a number, and that's how I do people's healing, is I get like their like serial code number, and I'll send them like healing that looks like, let me see, I'll show you one of the healings I sent earlier. I'm trying to figure out how to do this, like do this online. Like it's like so you can see like I have like the so I was sending different like codes into the person. So it's really cool. So those are the little modes on the iPhone, and I've got them all programmed to do different things. So I can have like different stuff go into the person or whatever. I can't see the chat on this, but I can see it over here. So I'll just answer from this right here. So I want to get rid of that hand. I forgot what I was talking about. I want to get rid of that hand, and I'm going to get rid of it with my cell phone. So I'm going to use the lasers in it, or I have a laser here. Hold on. I love lasers. I love using light to clear this stuff. Who here had something weird and creepy up above? Oh, okay. Back to the number thing. Sorry. When we break off of the Tao or the main source, we have a consciousness number. We're like 1 through 96. Like our book, A Skeptic's Guide to the Universe, or A Skeptic's Guide to Your Soul's Journey, I don't have it up here, I don't think, is us following Bill from creation down into Bill, and he's number 12. I don't remember what number I am. Actually, I do, but I'm not going to say. So like, if you know what number you are, just keep it to yourself, because that's basically like your soul's number. And that soul then basically can experience life through all of its creation. So then it then breaks off into like 96 pieces. Each of those 96 pieces break off into 12 higher selves. Each of those higher selves then create 144,000 souls. Those 144,000 souls then enter into like the soul plane. They get programmed as like little like movies, and then your consciousness way up there goes and it gets in the soul and it lives in the soul. When you go down to earth gives you a twink, like you get ignited with a spark of light, or a spark of light, which goes into your heart. So your heart beats before your brain is created, but your brain is kind of already created because your destiny is already set. Like your life is already set pretty much. So if you're so far off your path because you're stubborn, because your free will is keeping you from going down the path you're supposed to go down, your consciousness will just be like, pull the plug, bring them back. We can use life force somewhere else. So it's not like you're going to die today or whatever, but like if you've been feeling like you're going to die, like, I don't know if anybody here has felt like that. I wish I could see the chat over here. Let me see if I can see it on the computer. It'd be easier to respond to. Here, let me see if I can see it on the computer. Oh, yay. There we go. Okay. So I believe so, Sean. I believe that our spirit, the spirit of the earth, is with us until we're about 7. And I believe that after that, we're supposed to become self-aware and become connected to Christ, which is a body, not a person. And our Christ body, once we are in it, we're shielded and protected from, evil spirits and negative entities and things of that nature. But it's our job to live in this world, but not of it, to not get all wrapped up in all the drama, to not get all wrapped up in the, well, he said this about me and she said this and da-da-da-da and blah, 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 all this stuff. It's like, we need to forgive people. Like I was saying on the radio show, I was like, wow, I'm a really good teacher. I think I was pregnant then. I definitely think I was pregnant then, because I was definitely very I was much calmer. And when I'm pregnant, I'm calm and chill. Because I like the pregnancy hormones. They make me feel better than I do usually. So let me see here. The hand. Who saw the hand that was creepy? Let's get rid of that. And who feels like they're going to die lately? Anyone? Brittany, you said you felt like you were going up. It was weird, so you had to realign yourself. See, when you're connected to your higher self, you shouldn't have to like realign yourself. Like you should center yourself within yourself, and then you should just allow yourself to be drawn to where you're drawn to. Because if you, Jeff has this cool, I wish he was here. He has this, it's like a flight computer, because he's getting his private pilot's license. And he's like, he turns this little like dial to say like what degree he's like pointed, what the wind is, how far he's going, what this point to this point is, how far it is, what his speed is, and it determines like this little computer, like, but it's not a computer, it's just like a little dial. It looks like the ones that you can determine when you conceived, the pregnancy tests. You turn all these little dials and then move it up and down this like little scale. That's our consciousness. So imagine like 1 through 9, you're 1 through 96 up there. You broke off the Tao. They call it the double Tao. And then there's the Tao. So the double Tao is like the real Tao. And then that breaks off into the Tao. And each one of those, we have all come from one of those. And I think we came from number, I want to say 7 or 12. I can't remember. I think it's like, wait, hold on, let me see. We came from 12. That's why Bill thinks that he's God, because he's number 12. We came from 12, and then 12 broke off into 96 pieces, and I think that's where we came from 7. And I've heard of some people that are into the ET stuff that talk about Avatar 7, Avatar number 7. I don't know if anyone's heard of that. Have you guys heard of Avatar 7? Me too, Lacey. I totally am. 100%. Somebody told me about Avatar 7 after they read the book A Skeptic's Guide to Soul's Journey. Which, by the way, we're going through, and I'm going to rewrite all of those books because those are all just one transcription from 2 sessions in 1 week. Each book, we've got like 29 of them. Only like 18 are published. And I'm going through all this stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, this is like really amazing information that needs to get out to the world. But nobody wants to listen to Bill talk all day long, and our conversations like aren't that interesting. So I want to hear like the good stuff. So I'm starting something. We're gonna do a Tune Me today. It's going to be like these like lasery things and stuff like that where you can get attuned each day. And then we're going to have the daily spark that we send out each morning via email. So if you are not signed up for our email list, make sure to go over to my new site. Let's see if it's actually working. Could I look any worse today? Gosh, let's see. Like, I wasn't planning on being on camera. I'm doing Texas. No. Okay. So it's Marisa Moris .mykajabi.com. There. Don't tell me the internet went out. Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, so if you notice on here, we've got Mindful Men. And then we've got my blog, my story, the Patreon's right here. Patreon, I'm trying to figure out what to do with Patreon. Patreon is like pretty much my only source of income to pay for stuff. But since we're getting rid of the office, I'll have more scholarship money for people. But it's Patreon's dropped because it's so freaking confusing. So I'm trying to figure out whether to do a second one that's more of like a fundraising one so we can raise funds for, I want to do anti-bullying. I want to do raise funds for like research and development as far as like spiritual research and development for postpartum depression. Because what I do know is that when women get postpartum, it's because the soul that was their kid was in their field and it matched them. So it was like a battery for them. So they were like supercharged. And then when the soul leaves and they stop breastfeeding, breaks away, it's like this like weird depression feeling because their soul has left you, if that makes sense. Does anyone here have postpartum? Let me see. But anyways, this new site, there's a button there. It says 2020, and I already effed up my resolutions. Start your clean slate here. So we're gonna do a start your resolutions over again. I'm gonna do a daily meditation in there. I don't think that we figured out. I think it was gonna be $100, and I'm going to include like the texting challenge in there. So I'm doing like the no texting challenge, which everybody did not want to do last time, but I've got so many testimonials from people that are like, oh my God, I got so much stuff done because I wasn't on my stupid smartphone. Like if you look to see me, my fear of not having electronics, I straight bought a flip phone. Like, cause I knew that I would be on my phone. Like I'm like, go to do something and it's like, it's like 3 hours later, I haven't even started it because I'm sitting here responding to people, doing readings, blah, 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 all this stuff. So the thing is sometimes you just have to remove the stimulus, right? There we go. Let me answer some questions for people and then we're going to do this meditation. I'm right now, my higher self is up there cutting the cord to that weird dark thing that people experienced. That thing was really freaky looking. Trying to get to where, there we go. Now I can see the chat here. Oh, type it up? Yeah. Thank you for the suggestion. Yeah, Matthew is my new 50-50 partner. I've never made 50-50 partners with anyone. I learned my lesson when I was in real estate. That I'm just kind of addicted to working and I'm not good at delegating. And if I want something done, I do it myself. But I've gotten to the point now where I'm too busy. Like I have to finish this book. I have to get the Intuition Live TV launched. Clearly, we have technical issues. I'm trying to learn how to use all the software so we can get this launched. We've got this new site. We're going to do this resolutions thing. And then we're doing like a guided soul house tour, like virtual thing. Matthew's building it. Matthew found us through Facebook, obviously, but he asked God for a sign on whether he should go to my Reiki class or not a few years ago. And he goes surfing, I guess, at the same place like every day. He's a Coast Guard guy. He goes up by like the Marine base or something like that. And only Marines are allowed on there, only military people. And Jeff had a buddy from the DEA call him, and he was like, "Hey, you want to go surfing?" And Jeff was like, "Yeah," but Jeff's from Indiana and Jeff's not a surfer. And so Jeff doesn't really surf that much. And I still remember at 5:30 in the morning him waking up and me going like, "Dude, why are you getting up? This is your only day off to sleep in. Don't go surfing." He's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go. I don't want to bail on him." So he went, and Matthew saw Jeff. He recognized Jeff from Facebook, and he took that as his sign that he needed to take Reiki with me. So he did, and now we're working together, and we're gonna be helping, like raising money to help families of veterans for PTSD research and development, like literally sitting here and channeling and drawing out charts. I have a chart of PTSD right here. But if we're going to be sitting here channeling all day, rather than me making $800, an hour doing sessions, or $5,000 for a half day, creating people's businesses with them. But this chart was basically a chart of PTSD. I won't go through the whole thing. I'll share it at class tomorrow. But it was just it's really interesting to chart out people with PTSD. And it's also interesting to chart out the women who are married to them or the men who are married to the women. There's a thing that Janice discovered called the green pouch. And we think it's kind of like Peter Pan's pouch, like he doesn't want to grow up. And these guys that are in the military and that work for the federal government, the local government, are almost in boot camp, or I call it brainwash camp to Jeff, but he doesn't like that very much. Camp, whatever it is, I call it camp. They go to camp and they get trained for their jobs. They break them down. I mean, I went through a rehab like that. They break you down, down to where you're like 6 years old before you've entered into while you still have your spirit from the earth. You haven't attained your I am or your Christ body yet. So you don't have an identity other than your family. So they become your family. And now you're willing to basically kill for your family, because that's what we are as primal beings. So Janice saw it. I didn't see it. And we were working on an old friend of mine. She's like, he needs to clean his green pouch. And I was like, what's a green pouch? So I've been noticing it now. It's a fake heart. It's a fake heart with no compassion. So it's kind of like if I shoot that guy in the face, I'm protecting my family and my country and all that. And I'm not going to feel bad. But guess what? When they go home and they want to love their wife and love their kids and all this, it's like that memory comes back. Because they did that. And so it's almost like military government people there, that I tell Jeff, flip the switch, dude, flip the switch. Like, that wasn't funny. He tells like a dirty joke or something like that. I'm like, yeah, that wasn't funny. They used to call it flipping the switch. Turn the switch off. You're not at work anymore. But it's anyone here married to or with a military or a law enforcement person But the PTSD is technically a fragment of the person that you had the interaction with, whether it was shooting them or fighting with them or whatever. My grandpa came in and told us after he passed that he had a Bronze Star from the war because he had shot somebody, but right before he shot him, they locked eyes, and he could never let go of the look in the guy's eyes. And so it was like, he didn't feel like a hero. He felt like he killed someone. So, I think that if we can figure out postpartum depression, 1, 2, PTSD, whether it be like through the military, from our warriors, our protectors, they're all the angelics. I mean, every single military person or law enforcement person that I've ever met has been an angel. Not like I'm an angel, like bam, I'm a force of nature, like angelic being, and they're God's army. He is singing Marine. Oh, so Shauna, I used to have like a bunch of Marines come. There'd be like 15 of them. They'd all be sitting in the back of my meditation room, and they'd be like, "Hoorah!" What noise are they making? It's like they make a noise, but they were so cool because they could meditate so well. Like, because I mean, Jeff knows how to lower his heart rate just by using his mind, because like they have to like go like in between heartbeats or something like that. But I mean, these are people that are highly skilled people at mastering their mind. But when it comes to women and kids, they're like, "Wah!" Put them in a crisis situation, they're fine. But, you know, dealing with women or dealing with family or kids, they go back down into that lower chakra because that's where the military and the government's kept them. So anyways, that's my rant about that. There's also, you know, gangs do that. Like Landmark does that. This leadership program I did does that, where they yank you down into like your lower self, and basically keep you down there so that you listen to them. And there's some really gross things that go on down there in the lower realms, because you're going into the past, and that weird creepy hand that we're about to get rid of is basically what's taking the energy. Like I heard in what I was saying on the radio, saying that it's adding its divine spark to each one of you, so that it can live through you. Or I'll have to re-listen to the radio show. But it was kind of freaky thinking that there's a gross, disgusting hand up there for a lot of us now if we're stuck in the past. Oh, Laura, he was. We'll study him first, because I'm my friend out in DC. I'm like, I'm gonna study him. Well, I already was. Yes, doctors, absolutely. Yes. Let me ask. Doctors have a pink pouch. I think the green pouch specifically is Peter Pan's pouch. Like, they're not allowed to grow up. Like this one person that I know that I've been talking to lately, it's like he's literally trapped in 1999. Yeah. Just like, you know, mentality wise, like, you know, going out every night, going to the bar, going to parties, like hanging out with friends. It's like, you know, it's like it gets old after you're like 25. Let's see here. Rachel, I would say if you're not grounded, yes. If you're not grounded, but if you're grounded, thinking about the past will not put you in the past. Seeing if anyone. Just making sure nobody did a super chat thing, because we put that on there. I don't even know if that's even available. You know, the comments. Yeah, my house looked really weird when I looked at the dollhouse thing. So I think I'm going to redo. We're going to do new meditations. I'm going to do one for the house. If you guys don't already have the ones that I have on heyhouse.com, I'm going to be posting those on Patreon and over on the, is it Daily Attunement? Intuition Media. Intuition Media. Let me type it in here into the chat for you. And I'm changing all the tiers. It's going to be super simple. It's going to be like the $100 people can watch it anytime, can get the healing anytime, as long as they email me later, you know, as long as they email me before and say, hey, do the healing on me during this class. And so I'll add their name to the list. And then the $150 people are going to be coming for, I think, $1. The $100 people are going to be coming for $10, I think, something like that. We're going to make it super simple. And then there's a $250 tier that got thrown in there that was not supposed to be live yet. I think some people signed up for that, but we're just going to keep things really, really simple on Patreon. They've gotten way too, I'm taking it back over, and it's just gotten way too convoluted and stuff. The $150 tier will get the $25 app that I'm typing this. We'll get that for free. Intuitionmedia.bhx.tv. And then I'm making another app, which is the Daily Attunement. So it'll be like me reading these guys, the daily attunement, the daily affirmation for Louise Hay, and then doing one of those laser clearing things. Scott and I are going to do that, so that'll be a separate little app. So we're going to have all these different little apps everywhere, but it's everything will be collected on the intuitionmedia.vhx.tv, which I just typed in there. Okay, so let's do this meditation. Oh God, why do they want me to channel this song? I don't want to channel to a song. Do you guys want me to channel to a song? I don't want to, especially that song. See if I even have the song. I don't have that song. Okay, let's see. Fine. They're literally not going to move forward until I channel this. They said it's going to help everybody let go of the past. I look all pretty on the picture on the come and listen live, join me live. And then like you log in and you're like, ah! What do I look like right now? I'm so self-conscious right now. Okay, let's see, where's this? Look at Manny over there with her hat on, her hat on. Mm-hmm. Who is this for?
Living my life in a slow hell.
Be honest, who is this for? Who is this for? Oh, right. Who's this for? It's not going to work if I do it. If I do it on here, it's not going to work. I have to play the music somewhere else. It's called Picture. Is it really Sheryl Crow? And are they the only one that have a song called Picture? I don't think this is it. No, that's not it. Ew. Ew. That song made me feel gross. Okay. All right, here's the guides. It's going to get rid of the hand. I have no idea. So what you need to do right now is you need to picture a picture of you from the past and ask yourself, when was the very last moment that like gross hand was there? Or when did it come in? Or when did it leave? Like when was the point where God's hand was there and now God's hand is not there? It's like some weird Anunnaki, yucky looking Grim Reaper thing up there. I'd say about 98% of the people that were listening to the show today had it. And I was like, oh, no. Don't pull from that. Don't pull from that. So we need to get rid of it. I don't know why Picture from Kid Rock is going to get rid of it, but, oh, they're part of our soul group, so we can attune it. Okay. Song reminds me of my sister. They said this is going to get rid of the disgust. The feet. There, it's going to get rid of the gross hand that was above everybody. Okay. As we step into this energy today, we bring unto you life. We bring unto you action. And we bring unto you the beauty of living, the beauty of wanting to be alive, the beauty of needing to be alive. For many of us have lost hope. Many of those that have lost hope are men. They do not know where to go. They do not know where to turn. They do not know what to say. They don't want to say they're depressed. They don't want to say anything of this sort, because that would make them not men. So the sadness and the depression, the confusion that men are having at this time, is bringing an overwhelmingly large negative consciousness that is entering into this reality and pulling us backwards. It's creating a divide. The Me Too movement created a divide. There are just as many men who have been that have been violated as there have been women, maybe more. And those that have come forward, wonderful. But those that are truly victims still sit in silence. They still sit in silence. So this world is backwards. This world is backwards indeed, whereby people think that they're standing up for themselves when in reality, they're tearing themselves apart. So we bring this song into you with an attunement due to the fact that both singers are in this soul group. We bring this song to you because it will remind you of the past, and it will take you into the past, whether you like the song or not. And we will be able to clear from you what needs to be cleared so that you can have a direct connection to God within, God above you, God below you, and God all around you. For you are Christ now. Understand this and know this. You are Christ. And if you really, really wanted to, you could walk on water and walk through walls. But there's too much logic in your head. There's too much of the Luciferian energy or the satanic energy on earth that says you are a physical being and when you die, you're dead. This is not the case. For miracles that happened just in the past month by shifting people's consciousness from their old elemental body unto their resurrected body. And this is what we will be doing in the class this weekend, is resurrecting and bringing people into their new bodies whereby sickness does not exist. Whoa, sorry, I'm dizzy. B-C-D-D-D. Bring your mind back to the last time that you heard this song. If you haven't, allow your consciousness to be drawn into the song. For we all have pasts that we regret. We have all done things that we're not proud of. Luckily, we have a body that is of Christ. That Christ body allows us to forgive ourselves for anything. And unfortunately, beings believe that we must go through another in order to get to Christ, like a minister or a priest, rabbi, a shaman, a healer. Imagine that you would like to give advice to right now. If you could go back in time, what would you erase? What would you do differently? Who's the person that you may have been with? Who's the person you left because you were greedy, sad, mad, prideful, jealous? For silly reasons, you're no longer together. This is for 62% of you here. So be honest with yourself. Because there is a reality. Where that reality exists. Say, I am now the me that hasn't done anything that I regret in regards to, say, a relationship or a situation, a person, a place, a thing, a parent, maybe an abortion, a miscarriage, something like that, anything that you regret. I am now the me that didn't do what I did, that did the other thing. Please show me what I feel like. And you will see that likely you're not alive. Yep. You may feel great because you're not alive. It's because that was not meant to be. What's meant to be is what has happened in this lifetime. So think back to the past right now and say, thank you, me, for making all the choices I made. Thank you for leaving that person. Thank you for being stubborn. Thank you. Thank you. You'll begin to see the past as a much brighter place. Sorry, I came through. Start to look at your past not as a gloomy past, but as a bright past. If you're abused as a child, look at it as you're a much stronger person today. You're successful today because of it. Does it mean it was right? No. But everything happens for a reason. Your soul chose, your consciousness chose this soul for a reason. But now it's time to break free from your soul's story. And this is what we'll be doing tomorrow and this weekend. Say, I am now the me that is free from my soul's story. Please show me what that feels like. And you'll temporarily get to feel what it feels like to be the you that is not constricted by a soul's story. I am now the me that is not constricted by my soul's story. And I'm connected to the light. Say 0, the light, today. 0, the light, today. And today will bring you into the very, like right now, today. Now is in the future, the present is in the past. And today. 0, take me into the center of the light, today. Thank you. There we go, perfect. Doesn't that feel different than like now or I'm present in presence? It's today. They like me to say dot today. That's so funny. I don't want to say dot today, but they said I have to. You can also try attune me dot today. And that's like totally clears you. That was an interesting song that they wanted to play. What I did was I released all like the unforgiveness chords. I released all like well, what if I would have like had the baby, or what if I wouldn't have miscarried, or what if I would have been with this person, what if I would have been with that person, what if I wouldn't have enabled Jason, would he still be alive? Like, what if this, da, da, da. We have all these what ifs. Who cares? It doesn't matter because we're here now. And this is where we are. And this is a life that we need to enjoy because we came down just like Ocean's 11. They were saying, like one movie was more fun than the other. This is supposed to be the fun life. Like the other lives we lived were in like a crappy third dimensional reality. We are our higher self. We're Christ. We are God beings. Like we realize it. You guys are like in the know. And you know that you're these God beings. And so it's like, that's awesome, and that's why I'm trying to create this I Am Light network as soon as like quickly as possible, because we just need to get out there and start sharing that with people. Because I listened to Doreen Virtue last night and I swear to God, I was ready to lose my shit. Sorry, excuse my language, but like I was like, they're so judgmental. It was her and 2 other girls talking about a church that one of the girls had been in, and they use cards and stuff. And I don't like cards either. I'm Christ-based, so I'm more just kind of like, I am now my higher self. I'm my Christ being. I am my I am. That's my God self. It's a term used in the Bible. I am that I am. So I am Christ-based also, but I mean, to rebuke, like to say all my old work was evil. All of this was horrible, and to spend all this time turning people against something that was a stepping stool for a lot of people. I mean, like, is Reiki the end all be all? No. But is Reiki needed? I think so. Not necessarily Reiki. That's why I don't attune you guys to Reiki. I teach you guys the spiritual practice of Reiki. I attune you to you. I attune you to your God self. Your God self knows every modality of Reiki on the planet, you know? So it's like, it's all about just digging in and accessing the information, flipping the switch on. I activate your DNA so that you can get up into higher aspects of yourself that can access 30% of your brain rather than 8%. So when I'm attuning you guys, I'm not attuning you to a dead guy named Asui, which is what most Reiki masters are doing because that's what they were taught. So I think some Reiki kind of pulls people down, but you guys can feel it if you're a Reiki master and all of a sudden you're like, I don't feel Reiki anymore. It's because we're above it. We're above Reiki. Anna Carroll asked an interesting question in that video that I posted yesterday was, are the Holy Spirit and Reiki the same? So if you guys want to see that, yesterday I posted a video of it. And it's like right at the very beginning. Sue comes on and says, Anna Carroll. It's like when I first met her, has a question. So let's see if there's any super chat things on it. If not, I'm gonna sign off. I think Jeff's home. Tracy, will you text me and Matthew? Text me and then I'll send your name over to Matthew so that he can keep track because we're going to need to, him, Scott, and I are going to be doing a lot of the research and stuff like that, which is going to take a lot of energy because going into someone's field with PTSD is extremely draining. And like, that's another reason why I look so tired because I've been working with like postpartum depression person. Janice's dad is doing much better. I guess he had pneumonia, but then it was gone after the healing, or maybe just was never there. That's what I tend to lean towards believing, but I would love to believe in a miracle. My uncle is going to be just fine. And then my friend's friend that I worked on, two other people that I worked on that had cancer, their cancer's gone. So it's like, it's much easier to heal people in the world today because, like the guide said, if we were to go back into the times of Jesus with the frequency that we have, the electromagnetic field that we have around us, we would be able to just be like, heal yourself, and they would heal just because our frequency is so high. So Jesus carried a very high frequency. You guys carry a high frequency because I've taught you loopholes on how to get around the astral plane. The astral plane is just like a fake world. Scott and I started, what's it called? We started charting it out last night, the 12 kingdoms of the heavenly realms. And it turns out that they're the 12 aspects of the brain. We were like, oh man, heaven's inside our brain. We came to a lot of epiphanies. So I think if we have the channeling, I may post it, I may not. It's like everyone's like, post it, but then there's other people that are like, that'd be like someone who makes like purses or designs or whatever, posting their sketches before the design comes out or whatever. So like part of me wants to share, part of me doesn't. But it was really cool information that we got. And it's like we basically realized that using what we learned from Jessica and her sister and Riche, using the energy of an acorn, you can pretty much heal anything. And it's very strange. It sounds strange, but it's pretty cool. So anyways, class this weekend is going to be like an ascension class. We did one class before. It was a DNA activation. You'll feel different. If you see earthbound spirits, if you're an empath, if you're at a lower frequency than usual, come to this class because we're going to do like shifting you from the old body to the new body. We did that at the retreat and I like bawled my eyes out the whole time because it was just so amazing watching people leave like their old like bodies behind, leaving all their mental memories, the past, all that behind, and then just like getting into this like resurrected body. It was just like, it was beautiful. So we're going to do that this weekend. I think like a Friday night, we're going to have like a little intro and then have everybody that's taking the class just do like a little video to say, hey, blah, 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 so that I can look through the videos and see who's going to be in the class and stuff. So it doesn't take up a lot of time. And then we're going to do a class on Saturday. Tomorrow night, we're going to do the class on, I don't remember, but it's going to be fun, I think. Make sure to check in on the 2020 resolution things, because my resolution was to do one of these every single day. I did 2. I didn't post one of them. And then my face looks like this. So I've been waiting for my face to feel better, but that's not an excuse. I should just do it with my voice. So anyway, I will, I guess, catch you guys over on Patreon. I was going to do a live over there. Nobody has any questions? It's on the Marisa Moris here, Rachel. Oh, Rachel, do you have any questions? Thank you for the donation. Yeah, any of the donations on the super chat here are gonna go towards the not wounded warrior. What were we gonna call it? It's the Rise Up Revolution. I mean, Rise Up could be anything. We're gonna do the to the Pound Me Too revolution. We're gonna do the I always make fun of that name. Literally lets people be victims and be proud of it. Like, no. Like, I could be a Me Too like 17 times over, but I'm not like, Me Too. No, it's just, it's divided our country. I don't know about other countries, but it's divided it and made men like evil and made women victims. And it's totally regressed us in like, everybody was equal. I don't care what anyone says. People are equal. And, people talk about like the white privilege, and it's like we're going backwards into the root chakra, and everyone's dividing into their little tribes instead of realizing, oh, we're all the same. But the media is going to do whatever it can to pull us backwards. Like, I was listening to a cartoon the other day that Madison was listening to, and I was like, bloop. She's like, no, I want to watch that. Because they were talking about how poor Mother Earth is being polluted by the big bad this and that. And they were like very, very just like, I'm not liberal or conservative. I don't even really know what each of them mean. I just, whatever. Like, I love our planet, but I'm not going to get all sucked into that, because that Earth is gone. Like, the polluted one is gone. And once everybody can realize that we are on a planet now that's different, it'll be different, if that makes sense. I have a thing that I could read from the Skeptic's Guide to the climate change. Bill published it for one day and then he took it down. It was really good, but they basically said that climate change wasn't real. But the only thing that we should worry about, if anything, is plastic. And that somebody in our soul group would invent something where plastic could be turned into gasoline. And that it would like power all the cars and we wouldn't have wars over oil, but that somebody in our soul group was going to invent whatever that is that turns plastic into fuel for cars and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. If I was sitting here, I'd read it. But anyways, okay. Rachel, I thank you for that. Did you have a question that you wanted me to answer? Well, Brittany, you know what? Actually, I was reading A Skeptic's Guide to God. I think I have it over here. Hold on, let me see. We have The Skeptic's Guide to God. I want to change the names of the books from Skeptic's Guides because I just don't like them. It sounds negative. I never thought I'd end up at Hay House, and I never thought I'd end up actually, like, having anyone read our books. But they basically said within the next year or two, religion is going to be destroyed. And I know how, by people like Doreen Virtue, that are like just making a mockery of it. It's like, she's supporting the Bible, and she's that's great, that's wonderful, that's fabulous. But what she doesn't realize is she's talking about how she used to call Jesus an ascended master. Okay, great, fabulous, wonderful. And now you believe he's God. That's good. That's great. But don't harsh every single person that you've certified over the last 25 years and tell them that they're evil and wrong for continuing to do the practices that they're doing. I don't know if anybody was trained through her. Was anybody trained through her? I can see the chat on here. Was anybody trained through? Oh, thank you, Lacey. Aw. Thank you, Lacey. Did you have a question that you want me to answer? Okay, so Australia, that's funny that you say that, Rachel. I feel like that was a plan. It's not like it's like a government plan or whatever, but there's something going on with the. Are the fires still going in Australia? Um. Okay, good. You didn't. Shoot. Okay, let me finish with the adoring virtue, and then I'll answer the thing about the fires. And then if Lacey has a question, then I'll answer that. Is the the fire stuff is coming in, but the adoring virtue stuff. I mean, I was livid last night because it was like 2 a.m. and I was getting ready to write and just be like, okay, religion is about the. Can I just read this to you guys? I'll read what I wrote. It's very much easier to share that than to try and explain it. I was writing about God, and this is part of my new book that just got turned into Hay House, so you guys are going to hear it first here. I was talking about how God is like laughter. You can't teach somebody how to laugh, right? And you can't teach somebody what it feels like to laugh. You can tell them a joke, but if they don't think it's funny, they're not going to laugh. You know, if they don't get it, they don't get it. It's the same thing with God. Everybody has their own way of laughing. You know, Jeff laughs at like stupid things like Friday Foul Day, where people like are jet skiing and they get like knocked in the middle of in the crotch like by like a pole as they're like, I'm like, that's horrible, Jeff. That's awful. He's like, it's funny. I'm like, no, it's not. That's disgusting. But it's him and his friends do like Friday Foul Day or something like that. They send each other like funny videos, and I can tell when he's laughing at something that's like just like something that I would not think is funny, because he's like, like that's your evil laugh. But the let's see here. Sent. Okay, here it is. This little light of mine, exercises to help you shine your light. I think this is the wrong copy. Anyways, so I mean, I basically told you the gist of it. It's like laughter. So because somebody finds laughter some way, it doesn't mean that they need to judge everybody in another way. Okay, here we go. Don't miss the Jesus boat, I write. If you miss it, you won't be cool. You won't be saved, because Kanye West is doing the Jesus thing now. There are so many Jesuses, you have no idea. Jesus just started being used 216 years ago. He was Yeshua. Ben Joseph before Yeshua from Nazareth, or yet it was he was not Jesus. Don't miss the Jesus boat. If you miss it, you won't be cool. You won't be saved. The hidden yet very fear-based and controversial mentality in the media today is destroying us as a collective. It is time to join the Rise Up movement now. Intuition and Marisa Moris usher in a new breed of teachers, speakers, musicians, comedians. Together, all of these amazing individuals make up the I Am Light Network, and for the first the first not-for-profit project being launched in 2020 is a tour to end bullying and to end the Me Too movement, for it's causing even more divide and allowing individuals to identify as victims when in reality the real victims are still sitting in silence. I know a ton of them. Rise Up and Get Lit are two separate events. Both are filled with attunements to the highest possible you that you can be now. Both are filled with live music, live light shows, sound healing, and many experiential guided visualizations. They'll take you to places many believe plant medicine is required for, when in reality it only hurts your evolution. Rise up above duality, rise up above separation, rise up above political parties, rise up above religion. Religion is coming to an end. So find your connection. Go straight to the source so you can live, laugh, love, and feel nourished. No more fear, no more fear, no more fear. All fear-based religions and spiritual people must begin to see that God is nothing other than the nourishment, as taught in our orchard parable below. We receive from the center of our being when we become Christ-like in our ability to forgive anything and surrender ourselves to something other than the prison we call our soul and our mind. When we allow ourselves to receive love/nurturing, we can do anything. Man does not know how to do this. We are learning as consciousness and as our earthly collective evolves into something greater than we have been in ages. Like Brittany said, the Enlightenment ages. The dogma of religion, the fear of not fitting in now with peers because we do not pretend to believe what the Joneses believe, is what is making so many sick, especially the baby boomers, because there are so many of you that came from the same collective and so many are fear-based. So like there were like so many of them that your soul is huge. It made so many people because there's a lot of you. And a lot of them are fear-based. Even a fear of being kicked out of heaven when we die keeps us in line with the fallen godheads that control our destiny until we realize that they do not. By the way, that hand is gone now. After we listen to that picture song, that weird hand is gone from everyone, just to let you guys know. I was like, oh, the guides were trying to distract me so that they could do it. The glorious reality of it all is that one day we will realize that we are those Godheads. In fact, we created those Godheads as a sort of obstacle course to get through in this life we created for ourselves as pure God consciousness and pure spirit awareness, like the double Tao, the Tao. You know, it's like we broke off. So that's that pure God consciousness, pure spirit awareness. When we realize that we are pure conscious awareness, that is when we evolve. That is when we can do anything and be anything. Fear, religion, politics, and anything else fear-based keeps us from evolving or growing. If you were a plant, would you grow without the nourishment you need? No, God is nourishment, and you can get that from many, many, many things, from art to singing to simply laughing. Everyone is different, so to judge another for the way of receiving this stops your flow of nourishment immediately, because somewhere deep inside you know that you're judging them because you're not sure that you are correct and want to feel right by making them wrong. Last paragraph. We must know that the real fruit lies within, the fruit that provides nourishment. It's all there inside of you. Look for a feeling, not a being, when you look for God. For feelings cannot lie in the way man can lie. One man or woman cannot describe to another what it feels like to laugh. The other must just laugh to know they are laughing. It is the same with God. You will just know. And you cannot know based on another description. You can, however, follow another's path to laughter or God nourishment. But if it does not lead you to laugh, this does not make you evil. It allows for you to find another path and search for another way to be nourished with the laughter, joy, and love of a creator that will always be there and will never give up on us because they are us. That nourishment is ultimately you. So that's the beginning of my book, of my next book. I asked him if I could make it Ask Jesus and use all the parables from Ask Jesus. So I'm waiting to hear back from them. I'm going to talk to him on Thursday, I think. And we'll figure it out. So let me just answer Rachel's questions. These fires feel like they're trying to balance out some sort of ecosystem or some sort of animal disease that like is there that would have hurt people. That like somebody like planted there. It sounds really like controversial and like, you know, like super like what's the word? Very QAnon type of thing, you know, like that I know Scott's into that. We're gonna do Q versus A. So I'm gonna channel Q as A, because you know I channel A. So anyways, I'm gonna channel Q and he's gonna ask questions because he's all into that. Let me see if I can go and see the questions better. Lacey, did Lacey have a question? But yeah, Rachel, I think that the can't believe they haven't stopped yet. I thought they were gonna stop in 3 days. Oh, thank you guys for the compliments. See, the thing is about the calculated like things like last night when we were up in the 12 kingdoms or the 12 temples of heaven or whatever, I believe it was the 5th one was where like the president's energy is kept. And I was like, I don't think Trump's alive anymore. I think he's dead or he's on a beach tweeting and there's a fake Trump out there. Like, I swear to God, that is not Trump. Like, if I see him on the news or whatever, I'm like, that is not him. His hands are different. If you look at his hands, they're different. Sometimes, like when he's out in public, I swear to God, it's not him. It's a clone or something like that, if that's even possible. Lacey, did you have a question you wanted to ask? Well, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. It'll give us, the more donations we get, the more we're able to spend evenings away from our families and pay babysitters and do all this research and stuff like that, because it takes a lot of time. At least before, when we wrote all our books, I didn't have kids yet, but now I do, and now I pay $25 an hour to go channel and stuff like that. So time and energy, but it's totally worth it if we can help the Me Too people that are real. Like, I know a lot of people that are like kind of like made stuff up. The real ones, help the veterans, help the postpartum depression women, help the bullied people that are still haven't let go of their bullied self when they're younger, so they're continuing to get bullied. Yeah, that's kind of like our target first on this Rise Up movement and raising money and being like kind of like a crowdfunding site or whatever. So what do you guys think? Should I make that just our Patreon site now, or should I make a whole separate site for that? Lacey, can we connect from that? Let me ask. That's a very good question. Let me see. Okay, I'm bouncing on the astral plane like it's like a trampoline almost. The astral plane is our eardrum. Remember, after radio shows, I'm like up super high. So I feel like that the astral plane is our eardrum. Where else is the astral plane? Our right hip and our left foot. Okay, left foot, lower, right hip, middle astral, left ear, upper astral. For when you can connect into the upper astral plane, you can connect with that which is creation of all sorts. For you can create there, create there, create there, create there until you cannot create there because you realize that it is not real. For the astral plane is a place where you can create, see how things are going to work out, but they're not a true reality. For everybody contributes to the astral plane. So there are stories that have been told for thousands of years. For the astral plane was reset 7,822 years ago. It was completely reset, as it was reset on the 18th of this month. This hasn't happened yet. Oh, this is my future self? Okay. So I'm talking to like me in 7 days or something, or that's me in 7 days. So the 18th of this month, the astral plane is going to be reset again. So any earthbound spirits, if you feel like ghosts are like coming at you, if you feel like loved ones are like clawing at you, it's because the astral plane is just going to go whoosh and reset, which means if you have people that are in spirit that haven't crossed over, they'll be gone. But their soul is fine. Their soul's there. They're just little fearful, fragmented pieces of them that have stayed down here and have little pieces of the Tao and the double Tao in them. But by the way, if you guys want to get that book, the Soul Journey book or the Tao book, they're available on Amazon. And then I think I have them for cheaper on discoverintuition.com. You don't get them in like Audible form. You get them like as like a WAV file. And there's like 20 different like WAV files. And then you get it as a PDF, not as like a, like you can't have it on your tablet. But it's a lot cheaper than going over to Amazon and getting them there. But all of our books are professionally published now by a real publisher. All the Skeptics Guides. Hey also had me take down all of my stuff when I signed with them. So I've got over, I think, 29 books between and then I've got audios and all that stuff. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. So Lacey, say I am connected only to the upper astral plane today. Thank you. Oh, there you go. See? That's different, right? Ooh, you're like dancing. You're like spinning. You're like, this feels good. You're a very good astral traveler. My mom just got done driving 5 miles. You got a question there, Aaron? And then I gotta go. Yeah, ladies, just do that like all throughout the day. And then what you can do is once you're in there, say, take me to the top of my acorn tree. Try that. Take me to the top of my acorn tree. It's a metaphor that we came up with last night, but it's a trip. What happens if you do that? Oh, Aaron, you're so sweet. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Sean. I see Lacey, it's interesting. She's like yes, that's your ballerina dancing. You were like doing like the, and like your foot was up, and that's how I see babies when they come in. The top of the acorn tree, I believe, is at the bottom, is below our feet. And that's where I see like Parker, Matthew, whatever. He always wants to put Reiki in his feet because I think that he's like the way that we are as we're walking around, our consciousness is like hanging upside down from our right foot. And it's like a little ballerina dancer spinning around. So our head is, we're actually upside down, but we think we're like this because, yeah, it's confusing. Amber is an amazing artist. Let me show you guys this picture that she drew of me. We're gonna start offering for her to draw like a picture. Where's my phone? Phone. So she drew a picture of my friend Sean when he got his session done, and she was really good. She actually draws what she sees. But look at her picture of me. That's the wrong one. Amber, where are you? There we go. So she drew me. Thanks for the big boobs, Amber. But I found it interesting because our soul, I had asked her which side's the right and which one's the left. So she had written here, meds, drugs. My dad's always like, a drug's a drug's a drug. You know, like medication's a drug. And, you know, I'm still on my medication that I've been on for 20 years, like forever. But I still beat myself up for it. But what's interesting is how one of my eyes is missing. And my son every night goes, he goes, he like tries to like put something in my eye. Like he's trying to, and Madison looked at me the other night and she goes, Mommy, you have bad guys in your eye. And she says, take them out. And I was like, how? She says, just tell them, hold on, I'll do it. And she like went like this on my head and I could feel this stuff shooting out of my eye. It was the weirdest thing ever. So there's one picture. I don't know. Was this me? Oh yeah, this was me. Trapped in fear. Like stuck up against there. But what I find interesting is how the arms are crossed. That's the astral plane. It's like that sash that goes across. Yeah, she's good. Ooh, who is this? Who is this picture of? Was that me? Was I all like crazy because Stevie was missing? Who's that? I think that was one of the clients that I was working on one day and I asked her to draw her. Oh, she says, this is the spider magic that's on, that keeps attacking me. Interesting. That's freaky. That's freaky too. Anyway, so I'm doing sessions again. The waiting list on Patreon is literally like, it stresses me out so bad that if you just want a session, just contact us. If you're on the waiting list, just say, hey, I was on the waiting list, but I want a session, because we're doing them. We're doing maybe like 4, 5, 6, 7 of them a week. And just reach out to Marla and she'll schedule it, because I can't think about that waiting list anymore because it's totally stressing me out. So if you want a session, Laura called us last week. We did it the same day. We did it like 2 seconds later. Okay, we'll do a session for you and your sister. So I'm kind of like a spur of the moment type of person. So Janice just knows to just show up and go, hey, we've got 2 healings. Then I go, okay, let's do it. So anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you for the donations. We will put them into our Rise Up fund and hopefully start helping a lot of people and doing really cool laser light shows. You can tell I'm channeling because my nose is stuffed. All right. Bye. My face looks so awful. Okay. Thank you guys for the donations. Thank you. And Rachel, the fires are a good thing even though they're hurting people because it's keeping some form of a disease from spreading that needs carbon to neutralize it. I have no idea what that means. No idea. Carbon nitrate to neutralize. Interesting. Okay. I'll see you guys